UFC 129 was a landmark event for the Zuffa organization, reaching heights that were unfathomable when Zuffa purchased the organization in February of 2001. With the success of the Ultimate Fighter reality series, the company turned around in 2005, but it was the feud between Tito Ortiz and Ken Shamrock that showed life for the company when they first fought in 2002 and generated the highest pay-per-view total to date for Zuffa, and then blew up in 2006 when the two fought again to record audiences.
When the Fertittas bought the UFC, they were dying. I mean, they were struggling, and they were probably one step away from shutting it down. Dana White talks to me about doing the Tito fight, and there's a lot of history there with other Lions Den fighters, Guy Mesper, Jerry Bolander. And I told Dana, I said, if this fight happens, I said, I could sell this thing. I said, there wouldn't be one person that wouldn't watch this when I'm done. And so Dana said, well, let me see what you can do. And I showed him what I could do and blew it up over several different ways. And then I get smacked in the face for it because I want to go and do something with the IFL coaching.
Shamrock vs. Ortiz 2 generated 775,000 buys on pay-per-view in July of 2006, the highest in UFC history, with a third fight between the two later that year shattering all television numbers for the company and solidifying the sport amongst television executives. With Royce Gracie lobbying for one more fight under the UFC banner for this August in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, the name Ken Shamrock has once again popped up for the two to have their third and final fight on the major stage.
That fight, Royce Gracie and Ken Shamrock, should happen. The fans want it, I want it, Royce wants it, Brazil wants it. The only problem with that is that you have a bunch of people that have big egos who believe that the UFC, and they created this whole thing when they absolutely did not. People like myself and Royce Gracie and Coleman and many, many other people created this UFC phenomenon so that they can sit there and control it, which they're doing today, trying to control it for themselves. So they're not going to let that fight happen.
Royce Gracie and Ken Shamrock fought on the very first UFC card in November of 1993, with Gracie submitting Shamrock with a gi choke. The two rematched at UFC 5 with 260,000 pay-per-view buys, with the two fighting to a draw as there were no judges for the fight. Shamrock is convinced a third fight would once again do huge business.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind, and anybody else that would tell you, if this fight was to happen, this would be the biggest pay-per-view to date. But they will not let that happen. They would have to swallow their egos for that to happen. And these guys have got too big of egos to let that happen. I love to fight. I want to fight. I think staying within my capabilities of fighting people that were from my time. If I try to fight these young kids, that's obviously I'm a little bit old for that. If I stay within my realm of things, I think that fans would enjoy it. I would enjoy it, and I think it's good for the sport.
For our full 40-minute chat with Shamrock, go to thefightnetwork.com in the podcast section or on iTunes by subscribing to Live Audio Wrestling.